We're just here.
Aren't we all? Anyways. Hi, Starlings. So today's video is about body paint versus bodysuits in the cosplay world. I did actually film this last Thursday, but I was in a rush because I had places to be, and it was just a super rushed video, and I missed like a lot of info. Like there was a lot of stuff I didn't really get on topic about or mention, and it's all kind of important, so I decided to redo it. But yeah, this is just kind of a little informative video, mostly geared towards baby cosplayers, people just getting into the community and wondering, or getting into characters that have body paint or, you know, different colored skin. So we know the pros and cons of bodysuits versus body paint, because while both are very much valid, and it is also valid to not paint your skin or wear a bodysuit, that's fine too. Just because a character has different colored skin doesn't mean you have to do that. If that's not in your comfort zone or your budget, you don't have to, and that's fine. But I thought I would make this little informative video just to go over them in general. So I have done different cosplays with different varieties of paint, sorry, whether it be a full body, partial body, just the face, or there was even a time where I did wear a bodysuit instead of painting my entire body. I've experienced different brands, different types, different settings, etc. So, I'm gonna give you the rundown. Basically, so to get started, there are different types of body paint. There's water-based, oil-based, and alcohol-based. The water-based is usually the cheapest, and it's usually what you see in like for Halloween, like face paints and stuff. A lot of that is all cream paints, which are like the palettes, like little palettes, or a stick that you smear on your skin and then blend it out. But the water-based usually come in a little bottle, and then you just kind of squeeze it out, or you put it into a container and then you just apply it from there. I'll get into applications later, but so water paint is usually the cheapest, I would say, but the biggest like downside to using the water-based paints is that it rubs off. I wouldn't even say easily, it just rubs off. Like, you walk and you brush against something, or you sit down and it's gonna come off on that surface, and there's just no, I mean, I have used water-based paints, and I've set them with setting powder and setting spray, and they still just rub off really easily on your clothes too. I mean, the good thing is, because they're water-based, they are very much washable, so you can put your clothes in the wash, or, you know, take a soapy rag or towel or whatever and wash the surface, and it'll come right off. But it's still irritating, because if you're at a convention all day and your entire body, or even, you know, your face or however much is full of body paint, of this water-based paint, you're gonna be touching a lot of stuff. Which is one reason why I personally recommend that you wear gloves instead of, like, colored gloves instead of painting your hands, because you hold and grab so much stuff with your hands. It's just, honestly, it's a pain. So the water-based pro, the cheapest option. You can get them all over Amazon. You can usually get them in Walmart only around Halloween. I believe, obviously, Spirit Halloween sells them too, but they're only a pop-up Halloween shop. So online, Amazon, you get that 2-day shipping. Hey. Biggest con is that, you know, like I said, it rubs off on everything, but it still works. Cream paints. Let's see. I use the white cream paint from Mehron for Harley Quinn for when I paint my face, and it's depending on the brand, the cream paints can be really thick, so they're really hard to apply, because you really have to take your beauty blender and really have to dig in there, and you really have to apply a lot of pressure to like put it on and everything. So they can sometimes be a pain in the neck, but it's an option. I have not used the paint sticks yet. I have I think I bought some green ones for my Poison Ivy cosplay, and then I just haven't used them yet because I haven't done my Poison Ivy cosplay yet. When I use them, I will update, or at least, you know, make a post about it and experience. But from what other people have been saying, they're actually pretty easy because, and versus the cream palettes where you, again, dig your beauty blender in there and then forcefully apply it, the cream paint sticks, you just, let's pretend that's this. You just kind of apply it on your skin, like make little lines or whatever, and then you blend it out. So, and then last but not least, the alcohol-based ones are the best option, but the most expensive option because Endura body paint is really the best brand out there. They're alcohol-based, meaning they are waterproof, they are rub-proof. You do not have to set them. You probably still should because they still get a little tacky, but they won't rub off if you don't set them. That's what I used for my Twi'lek paint. My Twi'lek paint for my Twi'lek photo shoots. I used that to paint the Laiku. I think I ordered some red body paint for my Scantian knee sock shoot, but I never got around to using it. Anyways, so most expensive, I think like a 6-ounce bottle will run you about between 40 to 50 bucks, but a 4-ounce bottle will cover a lot. Basically, okay, so obviously again, the pros of the Endura is that rub-proof, waterproof, okay? The cons are, A, it's very pricey. B, you have to use isopropyl alcohol at least 90% in order to get it off. And that's it. The fumes, you have to be in a really well ventilated area, and you should really have some sort of like mask or like even like goggles on because the fumes get, it's rough. All that alcohol, like breathing in all that alcohol all the alcohol like that it takes to get the body paint off, and even when you're applying it, it can burn your eyes, it burns your nose, it burns your mouth, you know, all that. Like I hate using it because it's so, it burns. That's all I could say. It does burn your face, you know, up in here, eyes, nose, mouth, etc. a lot. So just use protection, have like a mask on, have some goggles even if if you feel safe. Like usually when I do my face, when I paint my face with alcohol paints, I just paint around, like right around my eye socket, because otherwise that's getting way too close to your eye. And then I just use like eyeshadow or a different brand of paint, like the water-based paint or something, to actually paint, you know, up in here and in my eyelids. Otherwise I just use eyeshadow because, you know, whatever. But it's safer to do it that way. Be very careful around your nose. I have painted my nose with the alcohol-based paints. I only did that once and then I stopped doing that, and now I use either eyeshadow or like the colored eyebrow pencils are like the face, you know, face pencils that you can use to like draw different colored lines on your face or shade in your eyebrows, stuff like that. Jeffree Star, I know, sells, his lipsticks are safe for your lips, your face, and your eyes. So if you have Jeffree Star products, or if you buy Jeffree Star products, you can use those to like get in your eyes and get on your nose. Otherwise, like putting the alcohol here really burns, and it's just not a fun time. So now that we've talked about the different types, let's get to, I think it is, yes, I wrote everything down again because I want to make sure I hit all these topics this time. The different brands. So again, I mentioned Mehran. I believe they have alcohol-based options. I'll have to look into that and I'll put a little disclaimer up in there if I'm correct or not. But I believe they have alcohol-based options, actually maybe they don't, but I know they have the cream paints, they have the cream paint sticks, they have the oil-based and the water-based. And then Endura, obviously the alcohol-based paints option, and then you get like the brands you have for like Spirit Halloween that you know that pop up for Halloween time. Those usually are pretty decent. It's just they're really tacky, they're really sticky, and they come off really well. They're not sweat proof, so if you're sweating a lot, it'll sweat off and you have to reapply it constantly. That was another thing. With the water-based paints and sometimes the cream-based paints, you have to reapply it many times throughout the day or even throughout the hour photo shoot, depending on what you're doing. Whereas the alcohol-based paints, you shouldn't have to reapply it at all. I have worn alcohol-based paints for several hours and I had never had to reapply any of it. And then next up we have... I can't even read my own handwriting. What does that say? Oh, it says removal. Yeah, basically, like I said, water-based and the oil-based paints will wash off. You can jump in the shower and wash those off. But be careful because like they will like kind of stain your surroundings, like your shower. But you should be able to just scrub them really well with a decent cleaner. The alcohol-based paints, the only way they will not come out from the shower. Trust me, I have tried. The alcohol-based paints, you have to get that isopropyl alcohol on like a towel or whatever, and you know, scrub it all over and take it off. And it takes a lot, so that's why it's so dangerous because of all the fumes. Now we get into time, how long it takes to apply versus how long it takes to remove, which also is combined with how do you apply them. So there are different ways to apply the body paints. You can use an airbrush, which I have not tried yet. Most people recommend using an airbrush to brush, airbrush the paint on your skin. That's like the one that I'm leaning against trying the most for me personally. I don't like wasting things, and like when you airbrush the paints on yourself, there's a lot of excess paint that goes beyond your skin and like on the floor, which by the way, if you're using, no matter what you're applying, what brand, what kind, how you're doing it, always have like a tarp or several towels that you might not care get stained, stuff like that. Have several stuff, you know, laid down, or do it outside so you don't stain like your whole house or the hotel room or, you know, stuff like that. But anyways, so airbrushing takes the quickest. It is the fastest. However, there's a lot of excess paint that gets on the tarp, and that, to me, that's just a lot of waste. I don't really like wasting, so I don't do airbrush. You can put the paint in a container and then dip your body paint brushes in and then paint them on. That works just fine for me. You can also, again, put it in a bigger container and then get a beauty blender and apply it that way. You know, there's different ways to apply it. Now, how long it takes to apply depends on how much of your body you're painting. If it's just your face, 20 to 30 minutes, depending, you know, face and neck, depending, you know, about 20 or so minutes. When I and my friend Anna did the Scantia knee sock shoot, that took 4 hours for us to apply paint all over our bodies. And then it took about, I think we were both in the shower for about 45 minutes, just making sure we washed it all off. And then, let's see. Typically, yeah, I mean, the amount of time it takes to apply really just depends on how much you're applying. Let's see. All right, and then we have how long it lasts. So that again depends on the brand and the type. Like I said, the alcohol-based, that'll last you all day. All day. That'll also will last you, like, I mean, that has actually lasted several days. I know stories from cosplayers who have worn alcohol-based paints for the entire convention weekend, and they never came off. The first Twi'lek shoot I did back in, 2017, I think, I was using alcohol-based paints, and I didn't know that you had to use like isopropyl alcohol to get it off. Like, my old friend and I were sitting there with Goo Gone scrubbing it off and like all these other things, and it just wouldn't come off, and it wouldn't come off. And that, I think I still had blue parts on like my back and my stomach and like my upper arms for like a week and a half before I finally like was looking up how to do it, and I picked up some isopropyl alcohol and like got it all off. But yeah, so the water base will just last as long as they'll last until you wash them off or they get rubbed off. And same with the oil paints. The cream paints, again, I haven't really tried them, so I'm not entirely sure, but they seem to be in the same boat as the oil and the water. They're just a little bit harder to rub off than, you know, the oil-based and the water-based. Now that we've covered the basics of the body paints, let's get to the body suits. So, I have so far done only one shoot with a bodysuit. That was my most recent Twi'lek shoot. And there's nothing, let me clarify, or let me start by saying there's nothing wrong with using bodysuits. Body paint can be expensive. It is not in everyone's budget. Some people have really sensitive skin and have allergic reactions to the body paint, and it's just not always an option for everybody. So that's where the bodysuits come in, because you know, they're faster, they're easier, they're cheaper. You get multiple uses out of just the one bodysuit instead of one photo shoot equals one body of paint and then you have to keep buying more for every shoot. So there's a lot to it. Now, finding the hardest part about getting a bodysuit is that you still have to use paint to paint your face, or makeup of some sort, regardless, you know. But the hardest part about that is matching the shade of your face and neck to the shade of your bodysuit. My Twi'lek shoot in person, there was a big difference. The bodysuit was like a sky blue, and the paint, even though it's called light blue, it was still like significantly darker than the suit. Either that or it was the other way around. I don't really remember. But in the shoot, you couldn't really tell. Like, yeah, you can kind of tell, but it's not as big of a difference as it was in person. So, but otherwise, that's like the biggest issue of body painting and bodysuiting is getting them to match. But I will also be linking the shops for Endura and Mehran in the description box. That way you guys can just boop. And like I said, Mehran you can get a lot of their stuff on Amazon. Like, just go to Amazon and type in Mehran body paints, boom, there they go. Endura is very limited. You can only get a couple of different colors on Endura and only like in the smaller bottles, so you'd have to go through, you might have to go through their site in order to get the color you need. And let's see. So I think I pretty much covered everything. Oh, that was another thing. The bigger reason a lot of cosplayers tend to go for body painting versus the body suits is because of things like this, where you get, like, when you bend your arm, you obviously get the wrinkles in the fabric, and it just, you know, obviously doesn't look right. Professional cosplayers tend to shy away from that because obviously they're a professional cosplayer, so they want it to look as realistic as possible. It is not necessary. You can wear, like, you don't have to paint your, first of all, you don't have to paint your body. A lot of the Starfire and Blackfire and Raven, Beast Boy, etc., Teen Titan cosplayers don't always use body paint because you just don't have to. And I mean, even, you know, different characters where it seems like the color is a staple, like Scanty and Nisox Damon. Yes, the fact that they're demons, you know, they have red skin, but you still don't have to paint your skin or even use a bodysuit. The cosplay community is very welcoming, and it's not something that is completely necessary. Like, if you show up dressed as Scanty Damon and you don't have red skin, it's not like people are gonna come up to you and go, wow, your cosplay is garbage. No, that's not a thing. So, bottom line is, do what you want to do. Cosplay how you want to cosplay. If you do get any negative comments, so what? Don't let it, you know, change your mind. Don't let it, you know, affect you. Obviously, you know, easier said than done, but that's the bottom line. Those are the pros and cons of bodysuits versus body painting. I will not say one is drastically better than the other, because, you know, in some levels body painting is better because then your skin is the color and you don't get like the wrinkles and the bodysuit texture or anything. But it's a lot more pricey and pain in the neck because lawn application, lawn takeoff. Bodysuiting can be better because then you could just throw on a whole bodysuit and you're good to go, and then just like the face paint. So it's really up to you what your preference is. But again, like I said, bodysuiting is definitely better for the people that have sensitive skin and have like allergies. So it just depends on you as a person and as a cosplayer, what you want to do and what's in your budget and what you feel like. Because let's say you have all the body paint for the character and then you show up to the convention, you're like, you know, I woke up with not a whole lot of time, let's just slap on the bodysuit. That's still fine, you know? So bottom line, up to you. You do you, but those are just the basics of body painting and bodysuiting. So there we go. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much covered everything. Yeah, looks like it. So, did I get that? Yeah. Okay, there we go. So until next time, thank you for anybody that is watching, and I hope this was really helpful to a lot of people. If you guys still have questions, just ask, obviously. Comments, message me, and I will answer them. If I have to make a part 2 to this, if there's like still more information I left out, I will gladly make a part 2 to this, of course. And otherwise, until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!